So this is the total, I don't even know what in me, but just the, anyways, it has to get done. I don't know what the words I'm looking for are, but I just got this out of the front grille. And I thought I would have to take the entire grill off in order to do this. Now here's the thing, is what I was a big believer when I had my Tacoma was de-chroming absolutely everything. And I plasti dipped all the chrome logos, anything that said Tacoma, V6, all that stuff, got black plasti dipped. I just like the look better. Chrome's a little, right? But apparently I'm a Chevy guy now, and this is the old school Chevy, right, with the black and the gold, and it just looks tattered and yuck. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make it as modern as possible and update it to what Chevy currently does. Well, actually what they currently do now is they just have the word like Chevrolet all the way across here. Not gonna do that. What I'm thinking is a nice silver outline where it's black and then black where it's gold. And yeah, the fact that I was able to get in here and pry these little tabs off with this big ass screwdriver, and of course with the help of my Leatherman, is pretty cool, because having to take this whole front grille off looked like it would be a bit of a pain. It's 2 bolts that I can easily see and a whole bunch of clips that I probably would have ended up breaking, so that's really cool. So let's go get some paint and see what we can do to this guy. Hello, how is it going today? We are taking a bit of a break from the build today and gonna do a little bit more maintenance. I was debating on whether or not I was gonna take it into a shop and have them do it. Then I remembered that I actually did this twice before on previous vehicles that I've owned. So I just picked this up at good old Auto Value. We're gonna change the transmission fluid out because, as Dean noted when I first took it in, and as I confirmed again yesterday after it slipped my mind, and then I was like, all right, that was on the list. The fluid's very dirty, and I don't want to push my luck, because the last thing I need is any sort of transmission problems. That would just be a very sad day. And in my experience, I did, wait a second, I did it 3 times. I dropped the tranny pan on a Dodge Dakota, a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and a Pontiac Grand Prix. Yeah, so I don't know why I was nervous to do it. And the reason I mentioned those cars is that the Pontiac especially, it shifted horribly. Like, we thought it was done. It was actually the ex-girlfriend's old car. It's what she was driving when we first got together. And yeah, we thought it was done. It was shifting horribly, very rough. I did the change and it was like a brand new car. So props to GM. And now I'm in another GM, so hopefully any sort of, not that I'm noticing huge issues with my transmission, like it seems to shift fine and I can go through the gear selector, but again, don't want to push it. It's just good maintenance to do, and it's about $125 if I take it in to have Dean do it as an example, or probably any other shop. So we're gonna suck it up, enjoy the nice weather. Ooh, we should get some beer and change the transmission fluid. Let's go. Oh, hi. What am I doing? I'm cutting and sanding wood. Why? Let me show you. So these aren't attached yet. I don't have long enough screws, but it's just a way of covering up this, nasty little bit where the walls didn't quite come down to meet the floor, which I knew was gonna happen. But this is twofold in my head, so right now anyway. Because once this gets mounted up, it's now also another place to mount stuff too, cabinets, bed, etc. This one I'm gonna have to recut. It's a little bit too long for what I want to do now. So what I'm doing right now, that piece that I just cut, this one's gonna go here. I gotta scry it, or whatever you wanna call that. I have to scry it so it will fit flush with this curve in the wall. And then I want it to go on the other side of this board. So this board's just a little bit too long, hack it off. So then essentially, these ones will go like this, and I'll attach them with a little 2x2 here at the bottom. And then we've covered up this insulation and that nasty floor gap. And this was all scrap wood that was just laying around the garage that I'm putting to use in the van. So just hitting it with some Krylon paint plus primer in gray. Seems simple enough. More likely than not, these boards won't even be seen. So they will just function as anchor points, but I painted them gray just in case a little bit shows. This is happening on the same day that I painted the Emblem and changed the transmission fluid. The day is winding down, but I figured I would get this started because it's probably what I will be doing tomorrow. So I'll see you in that next clip. I guess I'm gonna do this with fluid as smart as possible, and the first thing we'll hit it with is a little bit of primer. I need to switch hands. I'm not left-handed. See you in 20 minutes. Okay, I have none of my stuff prepared. This should be fairly straightforward. It's supposed to just be the bolts on the pan, which are, guess what? 10 millimeter. And the Chevy van has no drain plug, so the whole pan has to get loosened. The fluid will come pouring out over the pan, then we'll remove the pan the rest of the way, get all that fluid out of there, clean the pan, replace the gasket, put it back in, and then of course there's also no fill hole, so all of the fluid has to go back in through the dipstick tunnel in the engine bay. So let's crawl under there. All I got so far right now, I just have my 10 millimeter socket, rags, gloves, drain pan, and let's go. Okay, so I was able to use I was able to use an old log cutting compass to scry this piece of wood out. So now it's fitting in there pretty good. I feel like I can knock off this last little bit here, and we should be in business, and it should go right smooth up in there. So that's what we're gonna do to wrap up this day. Oops, sorry, got ahead of myself. It was way longer than 20 minutes. I did 2 more coats of primer, and now we got hit with some gloss black. I taped it off. You can see the painter's tape right there for the black in the center. Give that a couple more coats, probably leave it overnight. Then I'll have to reverse the painter's tape to cover the bow tie and leave the border. And then we're gonna do that with this. Oh, hi, it's me, the guy who refuses to jack up his van when he's working on it from underneath. Whoops, thought I was time-lapsing. Guess I wasn't, so I've gotten, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts out so far. Oh, frickin' wind. Oh, thank you. Oh, ugh. Okay. Can't. Interesting. Let this go. There we go. Oh, there we go. Slowly. Slowly till it's not. And that would be the filter. That's everywhere. Where's that magnet? There it is. So every transmission, oh, that's covered in stuff. Every transmission pan has a magnet in it that collects the shavings, for those that didn't know. So I'm gonna get the hell out of here, bring the pan out, and we're gonna clean it up. Stupid. If I just jack stuff up, it would make stuff so much easier. Here's the pan. Magnet's in there somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah, little magnet. So I gotta dump this out, clean it up, open up the new kit, make sure it's gonna be appropriate. This gasket looks fine. I think it's one of those reusable ones. Anyways, let's do some cleaning. Okay, so cleaned that up, gave it a little sand. I mean, there's a little air gap, tiniest little bit, but I don't know. Well, hang on, maybe is it just that? You know what? I'm okay with that. And the other one run here. That is perfect. So we're going to hit this with gray spray paint, leave it overnight, and then tomorrow we'll get all this installed. All right, give that 20 minutes, then we'll check it and hopefully hit it with some silver paint. Yeah, I used brake clean to give it a clean. I'll probably do it one more time as well. I'm just gonna let it sort of dry here in the sun. I was debating reusing that gasket that was on there because it's quite solid, whereas the new one's rubber. Anyways, while that's drying, let's put the filter back in. Crawl back under here. Oh my God. Good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. Wanna come see my transmission? Yuck, filter's going right back up in here. Yeah, you can't see it, but there's only one way for it to go in, so. Now we gotta get this pan back on here. I gotta move this cardboard because it's yuck. Good morning. So, wanted to get to more of that trim today, but need to make another stop at the Blue store because it turns out all of the screws that I bought to put up the studs and the wall paneling, I purchased. There's 1.5 inches. That's how long they all are. And the trim is essentially 2 inches, right? But it also has to go through that 1/4 inch of MDF board. So, need a little bit longer screws. So I'm gonna rip over there, get a pack of like 10 of them or something, and get to it. So let's go. Never mind. Couldn't find any self-drilling 2-inch screws at the Blue store. So now we gotta go to the Orange store, which is a little inconvenient because it's further away. But that's okay. It's a beautiful day to be outside. Okay, Orange store. Great success. Got us some 12 by 2 inch. These should be enough to get those 1-inch stud boards in and start acting like baseboard / trim and give us some anchor points. And I will show you what I'm planning on doing to kind of join those two pieces that's right behind this seat in a second. I didn't get any screws for that because I believe I have long enough screws left over from the wood structure that was in the van when I bought it. Let me just show you. All right, so I think I put, I don't know, 2 or 3 more coats of primer on there, and it's been sitting for, I don't know, an hour or so. So now, let's set this baby up to dry overnight with a little bit of shiny. No idea how this is gonna work or look. Let's find out together. It's not quite the silver you see from the factory, but decent. All right. All right, let's see how it looks in the morning. Let's do the good old Gatorade bottle comparison. Can you tell which one came out of my transmission? So this is what was in there, and this, I didn't want to put too much in, obviously, but this is what will be going in fresh right now. Where is it? There. So yeah, that's a little bit of a difference. So let's get that in there, and fingers crossed there's no leaks. Okay, so I put about 4 quarts in so far. We're gonna run it and see how it looks on the stick. Let's fire it up and see what explodes. We're gonna go through the gears. All right, let it run for a minute and check the fluid level. Okay, so this goes here. Now, because there's no real place to mount sort of along this where the you can see the insulation, this is my thoughts. So we'll see. This guy's gonna go here, right? He's not gonna stay there right now, of course. What a pain in the butt. But anyways, and then I cut this little 2x2. Thinking about him here, and then you can attach these together, or I can. Right? And construction adhesive on both sides of the 2x2 that connects to these, and then connect them, hopefully, with these guys. Now, I'm really sad because they're not self-drilling, which means I'm gonna have to drill pilot holes. Ugh. But these are the screws, and there's a whole bunch of them. I just brought 2 here for now. There's a whole bunch of them that were left over from that wood shelving that came with the van. So that's the plan. Should be okay. All right, well, let's get the baseboards mounted. Don't hit the other screw. I think we're good at this point. Whoops, slip. Okay, I'm probably rushing this. I could probably stand to be left alone a little bit longer, but like most things with this, I'm very impatient. So let's see. Oh, I'm gonna have to redo it. The black wasn't dry enough. So this is a good lesson for not being impatient. Oh, dang. Oh, wait a second. No, I'm definitely gonna have to redo it. The silver's transferring. Okay, so this is a good, perfect example of not to be impatient. I've now transferred silver from the rim on the thumb to the black. So yeah, don't be like me, just be patient. In the next clip, it'll probably be 3 or 4 days down the line, and you'll see this, hopefully, fixed. I put the rest of the bottle in. I'm gonna drive to the closest gas station so I can get actual flat ground, because the alley is anything but. So yeah, rip over there and see, because I've been letting it run. It's run for about 10 minutes, and I'm not getting a very good reading on the dipstick, so I want to find something that I know is flat and true, then we should be good to go. Okay, so next is figuring out a way to cover this pillar. All right, so it's right next to the door. I know that I want my water station here in this general area, so a lot of that will probably cover this pillar. But as it turns out, there's a scrap 1x7 board in the garage that I'm gonna use. 1x7? I thought it was 1x6, I thought that was it. But no, I measured it, they're 1x7s. So it's gonna be quite large, and it will end up, this is about 7 inches right here. So obviously if I don't cut the board, I'm gonna have that there. So I don't know, but I definitely don't wanna just be staring at this empty cavity. I thought it was gonna be a lot funnier me trying to get out of the rafters. Beggars can't be choosers. And do we think I remember where I left my pencil? Absolutely not. My theory is if it breaks when it hits the floor, then it's probably not good enough to go in the van. This piece didn't break. I'm just gonna dry fit it. Give me 1 second. Can you tell it didn't quite fit? I mean, shocker, it's just as bad as all of the other studs in the van. The curve is way too much for that piece of wood. All right, I gotta figure this out. I had to change the shirt. Transmission fluid all over me. Smelled great. Anyway, it's all zipped back up. Fluid's in there. I'm just running it again. I ripped down to the gas station. Got on the level ground. It seemed like there was nothing in it. This whole process is very tedious, but it's done. So I don't know if I'll notice any sort of difference, but it's definitely peace of mind that one more piece of maintenance is done. So that was a plus. Okay, so it's actually been just over a week that I've been letting this dry now because, and this is another good lesson, if this whole painting the bow tie thing is nothing, it's a good lesson. Maximum paint adhesion and durability is achieved in 5 to 7 days. So I should have read that the first time, would have saved myself, well, a little headache, I guess, no big deal. So this has been drying now for over a week. Gonna take a second look at it. Should be okay, I hope. And then we will tape it up and spray the white silver. Round 2. Haha! Moving along on the trim. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm doing with that pillar, but I found a starting point to make myself feel better and make it feel like I'm actually making progress. So instead of focusing on this, let's go this way, this outer part here, which I'm still hoping to use that 1x7 board to cover it up, I decided, well, I don't want to look at this ugly black sheet metal, so we scoured another one of these. That guy's gonna go there, just to help kind of close the whole thing up. So that's what we're doing right now. We're gonna get that mounted probably with some construction adhesive and some more self-drilling screws, and then I will look at covering up the rest of that pillar. Okay, so the day got away on me, got a little distracted with other things. Haven't done this yet. Still trying to figure out what to do because I may end up building quite a high structure here, so I don't know if I want to spend the time and added weight to simply cover that up with a stud right now. We'll see, I gotta figure it out. That's the never-ending battle right here. What you just saw me doing was I did start adding a couple of those IKEA bed frames to the frame of the rear door. I'm going to do it on both sides. Turns out the paint wasn't quite thick enough on the one board, so I just went back and touched it up, let it dry, and then I will get it on the driver's side as well. So all I did, so this is actually one board that I cut in half to accommodate for this bend in the body of the van. So yeah, it was definitely a dirty day, sweaty day, but it's a day that had to get done, and we ended up saving like 130 bucks when all is said and done by doing the transmission fluid ourselves. So not as scary as I thought it was gonna be. Don't know why I thought that to begin with, but it is what it is. So finally, I'm done being picky. Hey, now it's a new generation Chevy. Not really, but I'm actually okay with that. Let's see. Yeah. Looks good from afar, but it's far from good. But we ain't picky, so we call that a job well done. But it's also a good lesson to read instructions and go slow. Okay, now I've got at least 6 extra horsepower. Oh, what a nightmare. Wrecked nice wood. Jeepers creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? Oh, you're in reverse. We got it. This side is ridiculous. Well, it's not pretty, but it's done. I'm gonna make that it for the whole trim segment of this video. There's a lot more trim to be done, obviously. This perimeter's done, I still have to figure out that pillar. That was the bane of this whole thing. Let you know when I do. But that won't be in this video because this is just taking far too long. And I put this one on backwards. VanBuild. But anyways, that's it for this one, guys. Until the next one, just be happy, be creative, be yourselves, and most importantly, just be positive. Just be positive. Positive. I'll see you in the next one.